Mike Williams is asking about the timetable, and I will qualify this before I ask Cam. Okay. Consider this is not the NFL in terms of getting injury news and reports and understanding and having full disclosure or partial disclosure as you do in the NFL with player injuries. So we'll get what we can out of Cam, but he's asking about Nesta Silvera.
Nesta Silvera was a 6 to 8 week injury from the time or from surgery. So, I mean, we're in week 3, so I mean, at minimum, you're talking, including this week, another 4 weeks. At a maximum, I think that's another 6 weeks plus. So, I mean, that's kind of where it is. You see him scooting around at practice or during interviews. He has this little, his scooter thing that you have when you have a foot injury or like an Achilles injury or something. So you see him moving around. I mean, I trust that he's doing his physical therapy. I did mine when I had injuries and when I was, actually a competing athlete. And I'm sure that he is doing his because obviously he cannot be a fully participating member of the team in practice or anything like that. But yeah, I think that we're still a good ways away from seeing Nesta on the field this year.
Opalaka 74. I wish I could display your comment. Mark, it was really nice to chill with you and your son. It was a nice trip down to Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
Had a lot of people that watch us here, and it was fun, and hung out with Hurricane Zoe and the clan with about 40 or 50 Canes fans. There were a few Florida infiltrators that were welcome just because of family connections and so forth, but it was quite the time watching the ball game. And we did a lot of tailgating, got around to cut some video and get tailgating from both sides Saturday afternoon. Yeah, it was a good time. Nice. Mr. HD, Cam, when is Will Mallory going to have a breakout game? Now that's getting into the crystal ball right there.
I mean, when he starts catching the ball, I mean, that's going to be a necessary requirement for that kind of a thing. Got targeted twice against Florida. Drop ball. Well, one of them wasn't actually to him. It ended up being at him just because I think that was the play that Jeff Thomas got bumped off of his kind of underneath quick route thing. And Jaron threw it late. But yeah, I mean, it starts with catching the ball. And everybody will say, and I'm sure that Will Mallory would also say, that his performance in the opener was not to the level of his expectation. So I think that it'll be, I mean, it could be this week. It could be next week. It could be the week after that. But I do think that there is going to be a really big breakout game for Will Mallory this year. Excuse me. But his performance definitely does need to bounce back from the opener because that wasn't to the level of anybody's expectation, let alone his.
Cheryl, we thank you for your support, Ohio State fan Cheryl, but she joins us in each and every live stream, and she's making that comment to a number of people in the live stream. JT Sounds comes back, and of course, breakout just seems to be one of those sports cliche terms that is used, so we can define it any way we want. So I'll serve another one up for Cam. We're asking about player breakouts apparently tonight. Mark Pope, when is he going to break out?
When he gets on the field. I mean, he had 1 catch for 4 against Florida. It was on a slant. The DB drove on that ball really quickly. No chance for a run after a catch. The ball was put right in the frame of his body where it needs to be put on a slant. So, it's not too far in front for a linebacker flowing underneath. It's not behind him to get tipped by or tipped and then caught by the defender. But I think he limped off after that play. And then, he's a player who ceded some snaps to Tate Martell because of, Tate Martell in the Wildcat package. And again, playing wide receiver in base formation, not Wildcat, like actually just base offense, and things like that. So, I mean, obviously I think that he's going to need to be on the field to be able to make plays, hopefully with the snap count that goes up a little bit and the rotation that expands a little bit, we'll be able to see those kind of things. But Mark Pope has the kind of explosive athleticism and speed that you need to scheme to get him the ball. I mean, in the spring and in the fall, you're seeing him on those quick jet touch passes or jet sweeps, depending on if it's from shotgun or under center, things like that, maybe in the return game. But you got Jeff Thomas, and I know that he fumbled that or that punt. I know. But are you really going to take Jeff Thomas off a punt return? I don't think so. So it's going to take Mark Pope really stepping up, and it's going to take Mark Pope taking somebody's spot. And this is what Miami is all about. It's what it's always been about. That guy has all the talent in the world. And if he doesn't find a way to put it together, and that's on him and not on anybody else. So, I think that everybody wants to see him on the field. And everybody has their favorites and their least favorites. So you might say, oh, I want Mark Pope on the field instead of insert player here. Fine. If he doesn't go and earn it and take that snap, guess what? He's not going to be there. So it's a little bit on him stepping up to take that spot and also be given the opportunity to have something drawn up for him. Because again, I've talked about it many times. In high school, when they drew things up for them, Southridge won a state championship on the back of Mark Pope because he's that kind of guy. But if he doesn't have that about him, he needs that singular focus, you know what I mean? Just to really step to the forefront. And I don't necessarily think that we've seen it. And I hope that somehow, some way that gets unlocked in him this year, just because I think that he could be such a great addition to this offense and he has such great skill and speed and talent. But he needs to step up and nobody's babying him anymore. So, we'll see what happens, but hopefully sooner than later.